In this video, we'll be looking at the objects in the work area. Everything that we add to our work area is regarded to as an object. You get different types of objects. For example, we have text, we have ink, we have pictures, we have flash objects, and we have videos. All these different objects have different properties associated to them and can be used in different ways when we are creating or using these objects in our lessons. When I click on a specific object, a border appears around it. This indicates which object I am using. When students come up to the board and they drag or move the object, you'll see that the border does not appear. This is only if I intend to click on it to do something with it, either change it, rotate it, or resize. Let's have a look at an example. Here we have a 10 Rand note. I have a resize handle, a rotate handle, and a drop down menu on the side which I can go and use. If we have a look at this, the general features that come up on the top are clone, cut, copy, paste, and delete. Clone is just a shortcut for copy and paste. I click on that, I can then go and delete it. The next button down is known as the infinite cloner. This allows me to take as many of that specific object as I want and drag it out and use it where I need it. All of these features are looked at in more detail in our video series. When it comes to inking, it's slightly different, and depending on what applications you have loaded, the inking will vary when we click on the drop down. When it comes to writing, it'll ask you if you'd like to recognize the handwriting straight away, and this will convert it into text. If you have maths, you will have the options for recognize as maths. In this instance, I can tick and it's connected there. You'll also have the options on the drop down to recognize as a shape. Circle, a square. If I haven't used my shape recognition pen, I can go and change those shapes into perfect drawings. The next one on our drop down is spelling. If I click on the drop down, it'll ask me if I want to check the spelling. Here you can see I've made a mistake, and I can go ahead and I can change it to the correct spelling. Here I have a picture, a green screen picture, where I have a picture with some green screen behind it. One of the great features is the set image transparency. Once again, we go into this in a lot more detail in our video series, but what I'm able to do here is I can go and select which parts of the picture I want to get rid of, and it allows me to have a picture that floats over the background or the image I have behind it. Next in the drop down, we have lock. Lock allows me to lock certain images or objects or writing or text down so that when the students come up, it is not moved. They don't accidentally bump it and move it out of the way. An example will be for tessellation, where I need to turn the shapes and move them and then put them in place. Here I have a number of these shapes together, but I want them to move as a unit, so I group them all by selecting and dragging. Click on any drop down and I can go across and group them. Now I can move it as an entire unit. If I want to ungroup them, I would repeat the step. The next button is flip. So if I'd like to flip them up or down, I can move it or left or right. I can then go and flip it. The next option I have on my drop down for my objects is order. Order is placing an object in front or behind of another object. So in this instance, I'd like to have the text in front of the block so the instructions are clearly visible. Here we can see that the block has been put in front of it. If I go to the drop down, order, send to back, and now it fits behind it. The next buttons we find on the drop down menu are link and sound. Linking allows me to link my object on my page to 4 different options. Either to a web page, so I can open a web page when I click on that link, another page in this file, so I can go to a different page, a file in this computer, so if I have a different file that I want to open up, I can do that, or a current attachment which I've added to my lesson. In this example, I've linked to a Google web page, click on it and it opens it up. With the sound, I can either find a sound and add it to my object to support that object as a picture or to reinforce the pronunciation of the word, or I can record it myself. In this instance, I've recorded the sound. This is a diagram of the inner ear. The last button that we find on the tab, the last button we find on the drop-down menu is the properties. And this allows me to adjust the properties of that specific object that I've clicked on. The important thing to remember with objects is every single thing we add is an object. Even a simple dot from ink becomes an object, and we can use the properties of this to add, create, and be creative with delivering our lessons. Remember, all objects can move, so we can move them from one spot to the other by simply coming up to the board and dragging them along. Thank you for watching this video, brought to you by the Technology Training Academy.